we are on the verge of week 2. Week 1 of the 2024 MLS season is completely out of the way, in the books. Not many teams walked away with 3 points. A lot of teams walked away with a draw. The table looks very interesting. Just kind of kick off the season on the east and west side. We'll jump into it a little bit. But for this video, we are giving our predictions for the week 2 results. We have 14 matches on the agenda today. We're going to go through each one of them respectfully with the broader group. As usual, I'm joined by Hector Flores of Insert Name FC. We got John Rivera. We have AJ from Atlanta United Fan TV. And we have Xiao Yan of Rave Green TV here, to debate how we see each of these MLS teams performing in week 2. The first one on the docket for today, boys, we got Minnesota versus Columbus. Okay, so really quickly, at Columbus, again, AJ, I don't want to bring up too bad. I think it was a good showing by Atlanta United, but it is what it is. Cucho got on the score sheet. They beat Atlanta 1-0. Minnesota took down a very lackluster Austin side at the Q2 2-1. Boys, I don't know if you guys have kind of your own takes. I think it's probably safe to say that we're all backing the Crew. I don't know if anybody sees the loons of Minnesota United FC taking down Columbus, even though
I see a draw.
Really? Why?
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. I think Minnesota is going to play a little bit on the high. That new manager bounce. I think they'll play a little bit on the high. Columbus, I mean, they looked good, but they didn't. You could see there's some post-championship hangover from them a little bit, just a bit. And that's okay. And I think we'll see a draw here. And also, it seems like it's a weird common theme right now. We're seeing draws. So I think in this game, we'll see a draw.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. John, why do you think it's going to be a draw? Like, what
I just said a draw because I don't. As much as like we all know how good Columbus can be and how well they've played on, probably the best team in the league as of right now. I don't know if anyone has hit that level yet. There's a couple of teams that are doing well, but I see it being a draw because I don't know. It just seems like one of those games where I don't think Columbus is gonna come out firing because it's early on in the season. They still got to figure it out. I think Minnesota will take advantage of it. I think Minnesota's at home, right?
Yes, they're at home.
Yeah, so if they're at home, I could see them scraping out like a 0-0 draw or a 1-1 draw. I don't really see Columbus dominating the game as some people might predict or hope.
Yeah, I will say this about Columbus, and I'm sure AJ could back me as he was probably watching the game. I mean, 15 total shots from the Crew, and I will say this: while they created a good amount of opportunities, I feel like they just picked up right where they left off. In a way, last year they didn't convert as well as we've seen plenty of times in 2023. Right, the Crew through Cucho, and Cucho was everything. I think, in my opinion, if there's something that feels a little bit different from 2023 with this Crew team, is that I think Cucho was dropping deeper to be a little more of a playmaker while still finding a way to get into the box and try to convert some of these opportunities. 15 shots is nothing to scoff at. Like that's still a pretty decent day. They just didn't convert, right? They had, I think like 3 shots on target or something. So it wasn't, vintage Columbus Crew, but it was also week 1 of the season, right? So
exactly. It's a bit of that. I think, some fatigue set in a little bit, especially in that second half. And, there were some adjustments by Atlanta United to kind of make sure that it wasn't as embarrassing of a first half as it was. So, 1 shot, not even on target, is really bad for a half. So, I think, Columbus, they will probably struggle to maybe put a full 90 together, and especially on the road. It's their first, road outing. I could see a draw as well, but I think
I
they have
am
the
a
goods.
trendsetter.
I think they have the goods. I think they have the goods to get the 3 points, though.
I think so too. I'm backing Columbus to win this, even if it's a close one, like 2-1. I think Hector has to be the tiebreaker here. And by the way, guys, before we can jump too far into this, if everybody can see, we're all rocking kits today. Happy Retro Day, February 27th. It is kind of just a national thing. Happy Retro Day. We're all wearing retro kits. I got Valderrama. The Sounders kit is technically a retro kit. We'll give benefit of the doubt, but that's brand fucking new 2024. It's a 74 kit though. I'll accept it. And then we got Hector with his El Salvador kit. Umbro, haven't seen that in a minute. Looks good. AJ looking fire as usual. All right, Hector. Talk to me, man. Like, you're the tiebreaker here. We got 2 draws, 2 wins. Where do you see this one going?
I think Columbus comes out with a win. I know that the allure of the new manager that Minnesota's got is exciting, but I mean, also how soon are we going to start seeing the tactics come into play? Because I think they're going to still stay the course and stick with the tactics from the guy that's been filling in for right now. I think it's going to be a lot of observing for this initial one for this manager. But I just think Columbus Crew is just a different team. And also they're talk about CONCACAF Champions Cup, the triple C's now, if you will, is going on right now. Columbus doesn't have to worry about that right now. I think they're off.
Yeah, they get a bye. They get a bye.
So I mean,
they'll be fresh. They'll be fresh.
They're rested. So I think that I don't expect anything from Columbus except for wins.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I think the Minnesota manager doesn't go. Their new manager doesn't show up until after the derby. I think that's what that was agreed. So he won't be there this weekend. He'll be there the weekend after. So even without them having a manager yet, I think that they can carry what they built on in Austin and just push for a draw. I think they'll be able to hold on.
Yeah. I mean, they created a lot against Austin. I also think it was just more Austin being bad right now than it was like Minnesota being really good. But at the same time, like they're at home, and we'll see what happens. I still think Columbus Crew are just a championship caliber team until they prove us otherwise. I kind of feel like I have to back them, but it is 3v2, guys. So prediction God Xiaoyan might come back, hold this against us later, and have the receipt, right?
I don't hold anything against you guys. Come on.
I'm just saying I'm keeping notes right now, and then I'm gonna come back to this.
Okay, see, John's keeping notes.
I'm keeping track because this is something that I'd love to go back to.
That's fair.
I say a lot of things, so I tend just to forget what I said.
See, exactly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I still back the Crew, and again, 3 versus 2. I think collectively on Wake Up MLS, we are backing the Crew to take down Minnesota United. We'll call it, I don't know, a very close game, maybe a 2-1 or something. Real Salt Lake taking on LAFC. This one's very, very interesting. I think Salt Lake being the only team right now who has 2 matches under their belt, still winless, even with the 2 under their belt, right? They looked completely toothless against Miami. Like couldn't figure it out. Decision making was all over the place up front. Diego Luna could not get as involved as I would like to see him. And I raved about Salt Lake quite a bit in the preseason. And then of course, you have LAFC in the one game against Seattle at home. I think looked pretty vintage LAFC. I think that, the combination of Bawanga, Bogusz, and Tillman looks pretty good just to start things off, even though Seattle wasn't able to figure it out offensively. But I'm two pretty decent teams in the West. We all collectively, right, expect them to be there in that playoff race and contenders for that when the season all comes to an end. But I think right now, even at home, do we have to back LAFC for this one?
I think LAFC batters them.
No.
I disagree. I was like, why do you think they're going to batter them?
Oh, are we asking me or are we asking AJ?
No, I'll ask Xiaoyan. I know AJ disagrees, but that's a pretty hot take. Like, why do you think?
Oh, yeah. It's because whenever it's like RSL, I don't know if the proper term is like the bogey team for LAFC. Like they always seem to have like really good performances against Salt Lake. Salt Lake's a little bit down bad right now. Granted, this I believe is their home opener though. Salt Lake's. I could be wrong. Yeah, and they might show up for it. I see this ending in like 5-2.
5-2 is 5-2 is massive.
That's wild. At home.
Listen. I'll just to. I don't think RSL will score, and the only reason I'm saying that is because they do not have. Okay, just think about what we saw these 2 games against Miami. Had they finished their chances and actually they were gunning for it, but they couldn't finish. It's like having a knife that isn't sharp. It's a dull knife. You can't produce. You can produce all you want, but if you can't finish chances, how are you gonna end up winning games? Like they played poor against Miami. Not only that, but their second game was about the same thing. I'm still seeing very it's not concrete enough. They're not consistent when it comes to finishing their chances. They're getting a lot of them. They're just not finishing them. Like I said, it's a dull knife. It's what they are.
They scored against St. Louis City, so there was some like I guess positive progression, right? But it was still a draw, and again, I don't know how much you guys rate St. Louis City in this, in 2024 comparatively to what they did last season, but I know what you mean. And against Miami, it literally was either the final pass was lacking, the touch, or it was just decision making. Like they try to pick out the wrong attacker in the attacking third, and that the chance was gone right against Miami. And Miami left so much room to be exploited, and they could not take advantage of it. The 2-0 did not serve that match justice. AJ, what were you going to say to combat Xiaoyan's 5-2 take?
Yeah, I mean, it's this. It's like at home, especially, okay, Jose, you're saying that they weren't finishing their chances, but I think at home it's a different story. It's always a different story in MLS. And with that, I mean, okay, they're getting the chances. So at home, I think it's a different story when you're in front of your home crowd, you got the home cooking. Something's a little bit different, and especially them being the bogey team. Yeah, I don't know if it's a win for ourselves, but I think it's a draw. Could be like something like 2-2 or 1-1. But yeah, I mean, it's LAFC. They aren't like completely epic on the road. So I think, everyone falters in MLS on the road. It's just what happens.
Yeah. I actually picked LAFC to win, but not 5-2. I picked them to win like 1-0 or 2-1. Like I don't think it's going to be crazy. I think also Arango has to get up for this game. I know it's been a little bit since he played for LAFC now, but he still has to get up for this game. I imagine there's some motivation there as well. I think Luna probably looks at his last couple performances and realizes he could do better. I think they got to find a way to get him more of the ball on the open pitch. There's so much of it in some of these games, and yet he's only getting like 2 or 3 solid dribbling opportunities to find other players and make something happen. So I don't know, guys. Are we all in favor then? I mean, in terms of LAFC, I know AJ thinks Salt Lake's gonna take it at home, and I think it's a fair take. But how do the rest of us feel? LAFC or Salt Lake here?
I think LA.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be LA as well. Battle of Florida, Miami and Orlando. This one, I think a lot of people have as like a big time playoff matchup. They're gonna see each other, I'm sure, in like the Eastern Conference semis or maybe even the final, right? Well, that there would have to be a pretty big upset, I think, maybe for that to happen. But either way, we're going to get a glimpse of it early. It is going to be Miami at home after being on the road for the last game, correct? Against LA Galaxy, right? So going back across the country, going back home. And I think with Orlando, coming there, I mean, this is not going to be a tried and true road game, right? How was it last season? Anybody remember what the atmosphere was like between Orlando and Miami?
It'd be interesting.
I don't know. Either way, I don't know if it's going to be a
rivalry. I definitely say it's
it is for sure. But
yeah,
I don't know how they split.
Luis Muriel will be available, right? So they do get some help up front, especially considering the fact that Orlando, I believe didn't get. How did they net out in their last game?
They drew
against Montreal, right? No. And I don't want to shit on Montreal, but they had a horrible 2023, especially in front of net. I think they were one of the lowest scoring teams in all of MLS, and they look a little. The first few minutes, they look better.
Orlando had chances. Like that's not like. I think Muriel will help, but this is the thing for me. Miami looks so
slow. They look slow.
No, they look bad. Like the 2 games, they got lucky with beating RSL. In the Galaxy game, that red card completely changed that game. That red card that wasn't a red card. If they don't get that red card, I doubt Galaxy lose that game. Like, I understand that.
Did it happen like the 80th minute?
That was before they scored, though. Before they scored.
True. But I will say in that moment that Miami scored, I agree with you. It felt like Miami, the whole game was sluggish, slow. Busquets, just uncharacteristic of him, was completely just losing possession at times randomly. Messi couldn't find certain players. Then out of nowhere, Alba and Messi just turn it on. It just felt like we need something, and boom, okay, cool.
But you say that they turn it on, but they just look so poor in comparison to what. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't like Miami, so I'm rooting against them this season.
I mean, that aside, though, it doesn't matter if you like them or not. I mean, it's a matter if
AJ, it does matter.
Because essentially, though, one, they didn't lose, so they drew against LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
But, I think it's this. It's like at home. I mean, Orlando with the kind of dismal showing a little bit as well. Yeah, I think Inter Miami is going to take this. It's again, Cheyenne, like, who gives a fuck if you don't like them or not? Like,
I'm
Messi is Messi.
You know what?
Yeah,
You know
he's
what?
inevitable.
I'm gonna say
You
this.
like Inter Miami?
I was about to say I think for AJ's the other way around because it's Orlando, but I'll say this.
Fair.
Like the thing is that I think that Orlando as a unit and as a complete team, not relying so much on older players, is a better team than Miami, because the way that you can't. Suarez played 90 minutes the first game, right?
dude, he looks
looked
so
bad.
wanked.
He looked
looks
bad.
wanked.
Played 60 the next. He can barely make it through these games. There is no way that I can see Suarez impacting this team as much as people thought that he would. I think that you need to start Campana if you want to actually start doing something, because there's no way that you can start Suarez. Suarez might be a game changer off the bench that you can bring on, and maybe he can provide a spark. But starting Suarez as your striker and seeing what we saw in the minutes that these guys had up front, there's just, I don't see it, And I get Messi can turn it on and in a minute he can score you a goal, but I don't know. I think Orlando take this game. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I think we'll see. The one point I will agree with on AJ is that, like, just at the end of the day, while Orlando has probably the better, more cohesive team, they don't have Messi. That's the only thing, right? It's like
Dude, I don't give a rat's ass. Messi,
I get it, Shaya. You don't care, but like you have to factor it in. Otherwise, this entire show is just agenda. Otherwise, this entire show is just bias. Like you have to factor it in.
Messi has 1 goal in MLS. Pedro De La Vega has 1 goal in MLS.
Who has a penalty kick and who doesn't?
All right, well,
that's all I'm going to say, right? That's all I'm going to say.
No, John.
And John might be suffering from the issue that we talked about before the show started. But I will get him back in here. But what I'm saying is that, like, at the end of the day, you have to factor it in. Like, I get it. None of us just want to talk, we don't want to talk about Messi all day, every day, but they have this game breaker player on their team that Orlando just doesn't have. They have Duncan McGuire. They're going to add Luis Muriel. They have Nico, who looked actually pretty good for Orlando in week 1, but it didn't net out to anything. Against one of the worst teams of 2023, it was a 0-0 draw. So it's just one of those things where, like, I'm kind of inclined to agree with AJ to an extent. I say
the sense in a 2-2 draw.
There you go. We'll just do that.
Yeah, that works for me, John. Don't worry about it. But yeah, okay,
hell?
so 2-2.
Where are you?
I think
he's in the Red Devil cave.
Listen. It's red up in here.
For me, it's kind of tricky because, well, for starters, I actually my pick is Orlando City to win the MLS Cup.
Whoa!
Yeah, okay, let's just pause there. Shit, man.
I like the addition of what the team's done. I was hoping that they're gonna take a step up from last year, but
it's week one. It's week 1.
It's early, but I do think Inter Miami takes this game. I think at the end of it all, like, the ball knowledge that those players have at the end of the day, it's gonna be a slow start.
Inter Miami's so overrated.
I think that's the theme right now with Inter Miami. It's gonna be start slow, and then once their opportunity comes in, they're gonna capitalize.
Okay.
True.
We're talking about starting
but if
slow.
you're Orlando, you got to move fast and score quickly.
And more importantly, make it physical as hell. You got to remember, right? Like how Orlando made this a game last season was just disrupt them. Don't let them get into a rhythm. Like literally every time they get a ball and release, make your presence felt every single time. Push off, do what you got to do.
Puig made that midfield look so bad, and it's not like Gressel's playing that great either. By the way, Gressel has not played well.
No, Gressel's been the worst player on Miami so far.
Technically, El Salvador did too. So
that's true. Technically, they did too.
Just play some CONCACAF, a little CONCACAF action.
That's what I'm saying. Like again, Gressel, man, again, just he needs to go back to being just an outside back. I think this
right.
This
he's not
idea,
a central midfielder.
He's not. No, not that. Stop experimenting. We've seen enough. But I think, like, yeah, man. I don't know. It's gonna be a very close game. Who do we have? We have AJ picking Miami, Xiaoyan, and John picking Orlando. And you're Miami.
I said draw.
Whoa, you said draw?
You said draw?
I said draw.
Yeah, I think it's at worst a draw. And so, yeah, it's Inter Miami.
At worst a draw.
Like, Inter Miami's taking this. I mean, it's just
it could be a win, it could be a loss, it could be a draw. Anything could happen.
No, that's not what I mean. Obviously, but no,
the most lukewarm take of all time. Yeah, I think I'm inclined to. Man, I think it's gonna be Miami, man. John, I really want it to be Orlando, bro. Just
Listen,
so that
I'm
there can
telling
really
you,
be.
I'm holding down the receipts. I'm holding down the receipts. I'm writing this down as we're speaking.
Yeah,
we're gonna circle back to it.
Wake
We're
Up
gonna circle back
MLS
to
is
this.
picking Inter Miami reluctantly.
That's crazy.
But I do think that again, it's so hard to go against Messi right now. But
I mean,
we'll
if
see
you
what
look
happens.
at the real receipts, Jose does have an Inter Miami jersey, so
Okay,
he
That
well,
is
is biased.
true. That is true. There is bias behind
Yeah,
that.
there is bias
the
behind
late
this.
fucking take I've heard from either John or Xiaoyan. Vancouver versus Charlotte. Vancouver did not play. Charlotte, despite Xiaoyan's hatred for them, walked out with a 1-0 victory. Dean Smith undefeated in MLS so far. Interestingly enough, I want to like tick off Xiaoyan about that take. Very pragmatic approach. Did not have possession. Completely a defensive masterclass, I would say, from Charlotte more than anything else. The fan base was awesome. Just seeing all the scenes at I can't remember the Bank of America Stadium, was it? But at the end of the day, I mean, New York City FC dominated that game and just could not find a way to crack through. A corner kick won them that game.
Yeah, Charlotte has no chance. Like
I'm just gonna go like this.
Yep.
And that'll speak for itself. I think we're in for a snooze fest, boys. If you do not tune into this game, and I swear to God, I don't think you'll miss anything. I think that this game is going to end in a 0-0. Nothing's going to happen because
I said 1-1, but I actually that take is spot on. I don't even know if we need to add anything more to it other than
I just think
Xiaoyan wants to throw some hate out there.
Yeah,
snooze fest.
Yeah,
probably. Any other disagreeing points? Because I agree to an extent. I think this is pretty lukewarm. No, good to go. All right, sweet. Let's move on. I think it's going to be a draw. A draw would still keep Dean Smith undefeated. Just saying. All right, moving on. Chicago versus Cincinnati, and we have the benefit. We have the benefit of having our resident Chicago Fire fan, the 25th ranked Chicago Fire by Major League Soccer, by the way. All right, Sean, tell us why.
Do you want me to touch on those rankings? Like, do you really want me to? I literally cooked. I cooked on that last night, but I don't.
It's crazy though, bro. I mean, look, Chicago looked good to me. Looked good on the road. I mean, that some of the goals that Philadelphia got, and it kind of is what it is. They're a good team. Nobody can argue that, or a pretty decent team anyway. But Chicago looks like they've stepped it up quite a bit in the offseason. And the Guti, man, the man's firing right now in a way that makes y'all's highest paid DP kind of put to shame.
I'm just gonna say this. I think for this game, it's gonna be Selasi's probably gonna hit the bench because I think we've seen Selasi play better off the bench than having him start. So I could see Mueller hit the right, Guti still on the left, Shaqiri down the middle. But I'm interested. I was really interested, and I saw something like I was interested with the midfield that he went with. He went with Fabi and Jimenez, which I didn't expect because I don't really see Fabi. I see Fabi a little bit more attacking. I thought he was going to go for more to solidify defensively a little bit. So I thought he was going to bring in Acosta there. If not, then he would obviously stick with Navarro. But he didn't. But I'm interested to see how he plays this one out because I think Cincy is not the same team that they were last year. Of course, like they lost a lot of key players. Brandon Vasquez isn't there anymore. They actually drew their game. So, and against a Toronto side, which I mean, we'll get to when we talk about Toronto, but Toronto's isn't a very strong side. So the fact that they only drew to them and they weren't able to do much, I think Chicago comes out of here. I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna say 2-1, 3-1. But I think that we have this season. I think it's showing now. We have enough firepower to compete in the East.
Something to note with Cincinnati. I agree with you. Something to note though is that Bupenza did not start for disciplinary reasons, right? And he's someone that I thought was kind of the sole beneficiary of Vasquez not being there anymore. And he's had like a couple different disciplinary issues, not just with Cincinnati, but even with his national team. So I don't know what that really was, but if he does start, there's going to be a little more of a threat from Cincy's perspective. But maybe that leads to a goal as opposed to the 0-0 draw they had against Toronto. So. And in that game, keep in mind, they significantly, created more chances, had more big chances, more shots on target, everything, just couldn't find the back of the net. Toronto looked a little bit better, under Herdman than they did last season. But yeah, I mean, it's like that game itself was pretty cool because of the atmosphere, but the game didn't offer too much. There were so many chances that were missed. I kind of agree with you. I think Chicago should take this at home. unless Vintage Fire somehow shows up.
Well, I mean, we
That's
kind of
good.
saw that towards the end, of our game. Like, I attribute it not that Philly really battled in to win that game, more of a back to the old typical Fire of dropping leads like that and conceding goals late on into the game. But I mean, we had that opportunity at the end of the game. Barlow missed the one-on-one. I mean, it's going to happen, but I think that if that was Cyprus in front of net, he does not miss that. But he was subbed on. Obviously, Barlow came in. But I think that we're heading towards the right direction. I feel like the boys are confident and they feel it feels different than any other year at the start of the season, just based on the performance that we had not only last game, but just I feel like all around the team just feels like they have some sort of belief that we haven't had for a while. So
Yeah,
I think Chicago wins this.
Hector, your boy Corey Baird he had a decent showing in that first game. Did you catch any of that?
I got some bits of it. Look, I mean, Corey Baird definitely contributed a lot for the Houston Dynamo, but once again, he wasn't necessarily as consistent as what you want from a striker in his position. Sometimes I view him more as a winger, because he's really fast. But yeah, like I mean, the thing is with him, he'll have it when he has it, but more so than not, he's not going to be like your main goal scoring contributor.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think if Bupenza does start, he's probably the one that comes off and just becomes that spark off the bench to kind of get things going for Cincy. So we'll see. Xiaoyan, AJ, where do you guys see this one netting out? Chicago hosting Cincy.
Chicago W. Clean is clean.
Interesting. Jose, how do you expect your team to finish in this season?
My team?
No, Jose. No, sorry.
Oh, you mean John?
John, sorry.
I was like,
That's
what?
racist.
Damn.
Oh,
sorry about that.
cancel him. Cancel him.
Cancel. No. That's all right. What was my take last week, Jose? What did I say? Do you want to provide the group? Because I don't know if the whole group heard what I said last week.
No, they did it, but this is your team. You defend the take.
All right. I said that we were gonna finish top 4. Now,
Wow.
Fascinating.
I don't see where. Okay, well,
Yep.
Playoffs should be the goal. Playoffs should be the goal.
Playoffs
Yep.
is the goal, but I said top 4. This is what I said.
Okay.
It was my hot
So,
take for the season.
Yep. So those are famous last words. You can write that down. You can all that. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Famous last words. I love that. So
But see,
AJ does not have the fire.
But
What do
see,
you
No.
got?
obviously no, because he thinks his team's gonna finish it, which is fine. I mean, everyone backed their own team. It is what it is. But there's something about this team. There's something about this team, and I'm telling you guys, take notes now. If this comes back to bite me in the ass, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hold it down. This team is a lot different than any other team that we've had in the past 2-3 years. I can guarantee you that.
Okay.
Flip it.
So
Flip it.
I don't
What
even back my
happens-
team to make the top 4. So
What
It's-
happens, John?
so
what
I don't
happens
think
if it doesn't
your
work?
team is gonna make the top 4, my guy. I mean, no disrespect to him, but it's just I don't think they have the minerals, and but
Ooh.
I think this is gonna be like a 2-2 draw though, just to
But
Okay.
wait,
give us
John,
terrible,
if they don't make top 4, what happens?
No, nothing happens. It was just a hot take.
Okay.
Something should happen.
I mean,
Something should
these
happen.
empty
I
hot
agree with
takes.
that.
I will not be happy.
Yeah, something should happen. We'll talk about that. There could be like I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe a little kit bet or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we could probably do something.
Yeah, something. Okay, so we got AJ with the draw. It sounds like Xiaoyan's backing the fire. I'm backing the fire. John is. They have majority rules. We'll give fire benefit of the doubt. But man, John, I'm telling you, you're gonna see just something in the group chat if fire don't pull the W out at home this weekend. AJ's ready, man. He got saved in drafts. I could see it. All right, let's move on.
And also,
To,
apparently we all look alike.
Guys, just momentarily forgot the names, man.
AJ,
Oh.
put that down, bro.
Chill.
Hey, listen, to his credit, both our names start with the letter J, so I'm not
It
even
That's
does,
gonna-
it
fair.
does.
That's fair.
I ain't
If
even
you
gonna
had
crucify him like that.
called John Hector, that would have been like a different. That'd
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, all right.
Bro, my
Yeah.
own niece thought I was John. My own niece, She's like, Theo, that's you. I'm like, no, that's not.
That's you. Like, nope. Different guy.
I'm
different
like,
guy.
bro,
All
I
right.
got long hair.
FC Dallas versus Montreal. We'll talk about Montreal a little bit, right? They, I guess, showed a little bit more in week one, but Dallas did open up the season with a win. One of the few teams in the West who did. Started off not shaky, just a little bit slow. Went down to San Jose pretty early, and they came back, clawed back at the victory. We were missing Ferreira, Musa, Pomacall, Velasco still injured, right? 2 of our 3 DPs not available. And with that said, pretty happy with the result that we netted out. I think, again, at home against Montreal, I'm expecting a W. I think, and this is not me, I don't think this is an agenda. I think this is legitimately just we're a top 4 team in the West, in my opinion. I expect us to win these games, and it will be alarming if we don't. So I'm just going to keep it kind of plain and simple without going to all the specifics. I think it's going to be 2-1 Dallas, probably very similar game to San Jose, but I think that's the floor. I think if Musa plays, which he got here, like 2 days ago, he trained for the first time this week today. I think Coach Nico said if he has 3 to 4 good training sessions leading up to the game, he will play about 50, 60 minutes. So we could see him start. And if he does, man, there were so many opportunities we missed this past weekend that we literally had a midfielder and an outside back get our goals this past weekend. So, like, if we could have a proper striker on the pitch, not that Farrington wasn't, he did a great job, but he just couldn't find the back of the net.
I was about to say what a goal, by the way.
Which one?
Ilan Ormendi.
Oh, Yada, bro. He,
even
in Europe, he never scored goals like that. I thought that was pretty cool just to see him on the volley take that with his weak foot. But I expect Dallas to win. So to me, that's where I see this thing going. I don't know how you guys see it netting out.
No,
it's
pretty
a 3-0.
Yeah,
3-0. That's exactly what I'm thinking too. It should be.
I
This is
could
Montreal.
see
It's not like we're playing against like a MLS.
I could see this
Exactly.
being the game where Dallas make that statement, with the I could see this being the big one where people are like, oh shit, maybe Dallas is not too shabby. And then Dallas do what Dallas do, make first round of the playoffs, maybe get a win. And then they say bye-bye, have a good time.
I hope to God we get the Sounders again in playoffs this season, bro. I can't wait. I really hope we get them, and I hope.
I like how fiery we're starting off this season. By the way, I love this. I love how fiery we're being
for
this
the next
season.
best of 3 round.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah,
Again?
the format stays the same, by the
No.
way. The playoff format has not changed. It is completely going to be the same. It is what it is, boys. So, I watch. It's going to be Seattle and Dallas again. Well, if it is. I hope it's backwards. I hope we're the 2 and you guys are the 7 this time. But Hector's boys, Houston versus New York Red Bulls. And I know Cheyenne mentioned, I think pre-show me really kind of raving about the Red Bulls. And I watched that full game. I liked what I saw. Like Red Bull fans, considering where they finished last year, kind of in an embarrassing way exiting the playoffs, didn't have much creativity even in the final third of the season. Every game was just like a lot of hoofball, just kick it up the field and kind of hope that someone's able to get on the end of it. I actually like the build-up play, the link-up play with Forsberg involved. They just need strikers to start finishing, like in some form or fashion. They don't really have like a cutting edge, and that might see them finish up maybe like a place higher than they did last season. But at Geodis Park, or Geodis, however you say it, against Nashville on the road, right, stealing a point when they were, in my opinion, the far better team. So I could see the Red Bulls being a problem for Houston, but even with Houston's personnel issues, in that 3-5-2 formation look good. Like still have enough personnel on that side to create problems for the opposition. So Hector, walk me through it, bro. How do you see this one ending up?
I think at the end of the day, the question is where are we going to see the goals come from the Dynamo? I think defensively, you can say the Dynamo definitely have it there. Mikhail Shanchenko, which I think is a very underrated signing from last year from the Dynamo, show why that savviness, and Mikhail just going for it. Those just like literally bicycle kicking out some balls. It was just like it was just an amazing. I have a soft spot for Mikhail. I got to see him develop. Someone that, as I used to work as an equipment manager for the team, cool dude. No, doesn't speak any English or Spanish, but somehow we communicated. But I think all in all, amazing player. I think he stepped up big time. There's a reason why he's getting more looks than Bartlow is right now, because he's just getting better and better. But at the end of the day, we need to see something from the attack. I think we could see another draw. Personally, especially now that Ferreira's still recovering. Hector Herrera is now going through rehab, so that's a positive, but we won't see him for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's going to be up on this Gabe Siegel, who apparently has no relationship at all to Ted Siegel, the owner of this team. He came up, scored a goal in his debut. Awesome to see that, but how does he follow up? Because I'm gonna guess he's the starter. Come next week, come this weekend.
Yeah. I interesting stat though here that I think will make you feel better about this. I went and looked at the numbers. Despite the lack of personnel that Houston had and how Olsen's kind of just shifting that formation up and down against a pretty healthy Sporting Kansas City all the way around, 60% of the possession, double the total shots, double the shots on target, double the big chances. So I still think that they're finding a way to create problems in a big way against a playoff team in 2023. We know what Sporting Kansas City can do when they get hot, when they get into rhythm. You got to think Houston's only going to get better as the weeks go on. I don't know. I actually was more down about Houston prior to watching this game, and when I tuned in, if I was a Dynamo fan, I'd feel a little bit better. That's coming from a Dallas fan, right? Like there's actually something to hang your hat on a little bit. So
no, I'm positive about defensively. It's just once again the attack, the goal scoring department is still a question mark where that's coming from.
So you think a draw is going to happen? Anybody else have a different result?
I mean, I think it's a 0-0 draw. Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of drop.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. It's like both these teams, right? They kind of both right now are struggling to score, and you can see it. Like the chances are there on both sides, but struggling to score. By the way, how do you guys feel about that Red Bulls kit? Just seeing it in person for the first time.
I think in person it looked a lot better than what it. Yeah, it looked a lot better than what I rated it.
It's a good kit.
Because John shit on it. John shit on it straight up.
I shit on it before I saw it. Before I saw it on the pitch. Now looking at it, it looks a lot better. I still could use without the New York Red Bulls on the back of that kit being so big. I could use without that. If it was just a standard kit like that, perfect. No complaints.
I'm a sucker for RB Leipzig kits, and it just makes me think of an RB.
I literally said that.
Yeah,
I literally said that.
Thing. Well, I mean, to be fair, according to Hector's niece, you guys are basically the same person. So. but yeah, bro. I mean,
different opinions.
Different opinions. Moving on to we just talked about Sporting Kansas City taking on the Union, and we won't rehash a ton about Kansas City, who. Again, in my opinion, despite the draw, got slightly dominated by the Dynamo. Philly were always playing catch up in this game against the Fire, despite being at home. They got a couple, decent goals and one that was called back. But, the Fire on their turf, to an extent, kind of had their way with them a little bit. So I don't, and of course now they got they're playing right now as we speak. I think the game over already. The champion.
No, they're in extra time right now, but Philadelphia scored.
Yeah, so tired legs potentially, right? Some rotation maybe coming into play for this next game. And Sporting Kansas City being at home, that crowd being what it is, do we just feel like KC gets their first win of the season here?
Yeah, I can see it being like a 2-1. I mean, Philly, they're not spectacular on the road either. So it's, they can maybe surprise, but I think, it's the tired legs. It's the fatigue. It's, it being Sporting KC. I think them being at home, there's a hungriness probably that will kind of prevail.
I'm going 3-1 SKC.
Wow. Is this like a big Tim Melia bet or what is this?
No, I don't really like Tim Melia, but.
And you're picking Sporting Kansas City?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, okay.
Again, I don't choose this life. This life chooses me. If it's an SKC 3-1 win, it's an SKC 3-1 win. I can't.
Prediction God logic is wild, wild. But again, you have the third eye, right? Maybe you see something we don't see. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll say this. Philadelphia is just. I don't know. I'm telling you, and I said this before. I forget what we were talking about exactly, but I said this. The Jim Curtin message is getting old. You can clearly
getting really old.
It's
also backfiring.
It is backfiring hard.
The fact that you're in extra time against Costa Rica.
Saprissa.
Bro, I don't know.
Hey man, that's the best team in Costa Rica.
Yeah, come on, man. You suspended all our Costa Rican followers.
Hot take.
That apparently looked like
Curtin does not make it out of the season.
Oh, really?
Dude, John. What did you eat
I'm
for
just, I'm
breakfast
just,
this morning, bro?
I'm deciding.
John, you've never had this many hot takes in one video before.
To be fair, when you think about how long he's been there, over a decade, it's not the craziest take in the world. I just don't know if the FO at Philadelphia has the balls to fire him.
Yeah.
Listen. If he keeps performing like that, they will. Like, there's levels. All right, this is bad.
I don't know. I think
they're in disarray.
Yeah, they're okay with mediocrity. I think over there. So it's
no. But what was it? What was it that he said? What was it that he? What was the quote that he said?
They're in a better position than 90+% of the teams that are in this league, which is false, horribly false. Yeah. So, and I think when we clip this moment, I can even probably pull the footage back on that and run John's take over it. I think it's. I mean, you guys might hate Philly more than I do, potentially, but at the end of the day, it's not even like a biased take. It's like they're just, they don't look that great. They're not threatening even on their own pitch. So yeah, I think KC should win this. I back them to win. It could be a very close game, but I do back them to win. I think at home their crowd's also going to be a factor. So I wonder what excuse we'll get for the next one. St. Louis City taking on NYC. NYC was it a draw?
No, they lost Charlotte.
Yeah, they're right. We talked about it. They lost to Charlotte. Yeah, the Dean Smith masterclass. I think, with St. Louis City, at home, they just coming off of a draw to Real Salt Lake. That place is supposed to be a fortress, right? And it just didn't really net out that way. I mean, Salt Lake's been misfiring, yet they walked away with the road point there. But with that said, NYC, while they got all the possession against Charlotte, and it's Charlotte, so take that with a grain of salt, could not convert either. So do we just back the home team for this one?
I think this is a little closer than we might really
also,
anticipate.
St. Louis will be coming back because remember they're playing Houston.
Yeah, they're playing tonight against Houston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think there's goals. I think it's like a 2-2 draw or something like that.
I actually had 1-1 in my book, but I'll take 2-2 as well. That's a way better than a 1-1 in my opinion. Anybody else have
2-0 NYCFC?
2-0 on the road? Oh yeah, you're the sophomore slump pick, right? For St. Louis City,
especially with them playing in CONCACAF Cup. I think
sounds weird.
CONCACAF.
It's a Champions League, bro. Come on now.
I hate saying CONCACAF Cup. It's just weird. Anyway,
the Triple C.
The Triple C. That's right. Like Hector said, the Triple C. So you say 2-0 New York? All right, that's fair. Hector, John, anything different?
You know what? I'm gonna back it.
Hot take.
I'm gonna back it. I'm gonna back it. I don't
2-0.
I'm gonna say 1-0. I'm gonna say 1-0. 1-0.
Okay, write that down though. Write that down.
Man, I was expecting my doppelganger to say something, man. I was.
Yeah, Hector.
I thought it was gonna be 5-0 or something.
Nah. Wait, I can't give away all the fire right now. I can't give it all away.
No,
I reserve a little bit.
I agree with my twin. I think St. Louis comes out with a win.
All right. So wait. So you said St. Louis comes out with a win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said NYC. We're opposite.
Yeah, so it's the other way around.
Opposite. Okay, cool. So no, this is
Emma,
good.
If you're watching this is me.
New York City. Draw, and then we have the St. Louis pick. So, you know what, man?
You're gonna flop.
I don't want to flop because it's hard for me. Like St. Louis does have. I'm expecting them at some point to just utilize the home crowd to their advantage, and you got to think it's got to be against NYC, considering the down season they had last year. They didn't come out swinging against Charlotte.
Yeah, but it's it rarely, I think, with a team that wants to be a top team, whether Cheyenne thinks it's actually going to happen or not, they're gonna try to, at least in front of their home fans, turn it around. And I think that's
AJ, I say we just back St. Louis to win, bro.
Nah.
I say we do it just to spite Xiaoyan and John.
See, this is a bunch of hate.
That's crazy, dude. I know, John. They hate us because they ain't us.
You know what? You know what's funny though? Half of the predictions that we've done, if you take it combined, I feel like we've gotten more
Obviously,
right.
I'm carrying most of the weight for that, but
yeah.
I like how John just attached himself to the prediction guy. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, I feel like together we actually like have
like
a great record.
It's like putting Leicester. It's like, for example, like putting Leicester City with Real Madrid have more Champions Leagues combined than Arsenal.
Exactly, bro. It's just
Yeah.
I just threw Arsenal in the mix, bro. I mean, catching strays out of nowhere. That's kind of crazy, but that's
exactly
fine.
right.
Where's the lie?
Let's have one curveball. NYCFC.
Fine, I'll take it. I'll take it. We got to pick one way or the other here. I'll be the tiebreaker. We'll back NYCFC 1-0, not 2. I'll bring back John's.
I said 1-0. I said
yeah, it's
marginal.
Yeah, it's usually conservative. 1-0 at home. By the way, if St. Louis go into this, and John, I had that take on your show on kicking in MLS.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to have a sophomore slump too. If they are winless going into week 3, that Xiaoyan and I look pretty good on that take. So, man, and I thought there was going to be maybe a resurgence from Colorado this season, but there really hasn't been, at least based on
It's
the
literally
opening.
a repeat of last year's home opener. Pretty
Well,
much.
worse. Like
really
4-0 inside of a half to kick off the season is wild. It makes that take I had about Phil Neville look terrible because I mean, he had his team firing on all cylinders.
I told you
no
not
DPs,
to like
by the way. No DPs.
who.
Portland didn't have a single DP. They didn't field the DP.
Yeah. But what's crazy is that like it was literally mid-coach against mid-coach. It was a mid-off from the managerial standpoint, and Phil Neville came out swinging, bro. I mean, 4 goals unanswered, and then just didn't do anything in the second half. But
Because you don't need to.
You don't need to. You
I
don't
have
need
to.
to.
I mean, Xiaoyan, like when we were talking about the Western Conference, I mean, we did say despite the coach, Portland is still a pretty good team.
Yeah,
we did say that. We all said that though. I didn't say Portland was bad. I just
No,
I just
but
don't
even
rate
with Phil
at all.
Neville, I still don't think they're that bad. Like either. Like I don't think Phil Neville's that bad of a coach.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's this. It's like Inter Miami, he was out of his depth because of a
But
large
not
number
even
of
like
things,
he brought Inter Miami to their best ever finish in MLS regular season.
Because he's been their only
before one of the worst starts they've ever had in franchise history.
Exactly. It's yeah.
I don't think Tata will do any better.
Oh,
that's a hot
Hey,
take.
y'all-
was the
y'all-
spiciest one
yeah,
here
y'all
today.
talking about me.
No. Yeah, John, actually write that down. Yeah.
Write that
Okay.
But that's the thing, because Phil Neville, I think Portland is actually a really good spot for him. It's, low key in some respects around the league. It's often forgotten to a degree, except if you're in the Northwest. And yeah, I mean, it's that's his level. I feel like, it's not too like high key where there's so much news coming out, and like he just can't handle these, I think, big personalities. That's just not his type of coaching.
I disagree. He
Based
did
on
handle
what?
big personalities.
His track record?
He did at Inter.
Higuain?
Who?
Gonzalo Higuain?
He had what? Higuain,
Yeah.
Rodolfo Pizarro?
Yeah, Pizarro might have been the biggest one.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then
listen,
they shipped
that
him
guy
off.
went-
So
that
And
guy
that did not
cooked.
end well.
Yeah.
That guy cooked for about 3 minutes in the league. All right.
Before
That's all
all
you
the
just-
drama
All I have to
happened.
say is like I just don't like the complete Phil Neville disrespect. Like he had less to work with at Inter Miami than Tata did, and
I mean, yes,
Wait,
but
so
because
did he
that's
have
a
stars, or
huge
did he not?
overgeneralization. Phil Neville didn't get messy. By every measure, he's going to have a lesser team than Tata did. Like,
well, I know, but like I think that this is a good, like it's a smart appointment by Portland, and I wouldn't be surprised if Portland's a bit of a sleeper team because of it, because he has a track record of dealing with a team that is kind of like a clusterfuck, because that's what Inter Miami was, and they still kind of are. And he was able to sail a ship for them to what, a 5th or 6th place finish. Like, and I think that's not bad. Obviously, there was ups and downs, but that's the clusterfuck of Inter Miami. And again, I don't know how the season will pan out for Tata, and it was almost mathematically impossible. But even still, with the team that he had, his record in MLS was pretty bad still. Like, there were some games that Inter Miami played pretty bad. Like post Leagues Cup, I'm talking about last year.
yeah, but his record
we
still
dunked
far
on them
exceeds
4-0.
Phil Neville's.
We
Far
dunked on
exceeds
them.
Phil Neville.
But we dunked on them 4-0. Chicago. This is preseason.
John
This
must have a
Chicago.
picture of that game hanging somewhere in his fucking
Listen,
room, bro.
I got
there's no way he does
videos of every single goal that we dunked on them. By the way, just so you know,
I'm just putting perspective. I'm not saying Phil Neville's a better coach than Tata, nothing like that. I'm just saying
You
I think
literally
there's a
said
bit
it.
of perspective.
We'll see when he faces adversity. I agree with what AJ said. I think he went to a market that is not as big and has as many eyeballs on it as Miami's, right? The biggest talk of Portland is those dank ass kits they rolled out for the new season. But outside of that, like it's relatively quiet. Like Kamal Miller was the biggest like news you really got out of Portland heading into this season. So
But it's a good
I agree.
pickup,
It was a
though.
low-key good
Fair
move, and they
pickup.
surprised everybody coming out the gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, to talk about this game, yeah, it's
I think
forgot.
this
He
sums
just
up
forgot.
the game. This
yeah.
conversation
So
sums up the
I
game.
mean, yeah, I think it's probably Nashville. It's probably like 2-1.
I think this is a boring. You guys talked about a boring game. This is going to be a boring
This
game.
could be worse. This could actually be a 0-0 draw with like less action.
No, this is 0-0. 0-0 written all over it.
Yeah,
Draw.
like
I'm saying a snooze fest because one, Nashville don't create offense, and whatever the fuck Colorado rolled out, I don't know I don't know how to
bro,
rate
even
this
Mihalovic
team.
didn't look that great. Like
I know that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know
saying.
what it
Jody
was.
should have come back home. That's all I'm saying. He
Yeah, I
shoulda
don't
came
know, man.
home.
Again,
I don't know if
Arnold's
you guys would
finding a way
even
to be
want
more
him back,
mediocre.
John.
At this point, we don't need him, but it would have been nice.
You would take Georgie back.
Yeah,
You would
exactly.
you would take
Over Shaqiri for sure. Over Shaqiri
Yeah.
for sure.
You would take him back,
No shadow of a
100%.
doubt.
Yeah, John, you were on a high from this first week, man. It is like some good shit that you
My
spoke
man's
about.
loving life right now, bro.
Listen,
on-
we're
he's on that-
optimistic
he's on that
now. It's the
Portland kick.
first time.
Exactly.
He's on that Portland pack.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He'll be here before we know it, boys. But look, man, this could be just, especially if Mokhtar does not play. This is a game I'm completely okay with missing, and I honestly try to tune into as many matches as I can on any weekend. I just don't see this match really going anywhere. So
No
I think,
Mukhtar, no party.
I
Yeah,
think
seriously.
if you do MLS 360, I bet you're not going to get many highlights from this game.
You're gonna get two
definitely
highlights.
not. Definitely not.
Two highlights at max, and then they're
Yeah,
gonna cut
yeah.
They might not even air it, bro.
Going into that Portland game versus DC United.
This is a good one. This is the best game of the week.
I
It'll
told
be-
the same thing yesterday. I said the same thing yesterday. I do not disagree.
Hold on. Before you guys just start glazing each other here on the show, I think what we should do.
There's proof. There's proof.
Let's
said
relax
this
for a
yesterday.
second, okay? Let's relax. Second is, I think that, look at the DC United game. You have to look at that game with an asterisk. I know Benteke got a hat trick, but for a player to get a red card in the 25th minute changes the entire complexion of that game.
Mm-hmm.
So the Revs, and they were still creating chances, keep in mind, right? So DC United, I think, can still be pulled apart by this Portland Timbers team if they build off the momentum they saw against a very, very lackluster Colorado team. So this is going to be the game of the week. I potentially, I kind of agree. Maybe a lot of goals.
I'm
I
going
actually
3-2 Portland.
3-2. Dude,
That's
the
a big.
same
Yeah.
thing. I said 3-2 Portland. This is
I
going
think
to
it's
be
gonna
a
be a 3-3 draw. I mean,
3-3 would also
Jesus.
be fucking
Yes.
crazy.
yes.
It's 3-3. I see fireworks in this game.
Yeah.
I see fireworks.
Goals
By the way,
galore.
we're gonna be put to the fucking axe, by the way, if this game's like a 0-0 draw. I'm just
Yeah,
calling
right.
it. Say,
It's imagine this game
it's always
ends 0-0, the
conversation.
other one's 3-2. The previous two.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know,
That's
man.
probably
It's
the
gonna
most
be wild.
MLS thing, though.
It would be the
It
most
would
MLS
be,
shit of all
it would
time.
be.
100%. But Brioni's red card did change a lot, I will say. And
Yes.
by the way, we'll talk about the Revs in a little bit. But in that game, even the hat trick that Benteke scored, it was very scrappy. Like it was very, I don't know, like the
Benteke.
balls.
That's a
could have been-
Benteke
very
esque
Benteke.
hat
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Very
it is. Yeah.
Benteke.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know, man. Like it just didn't inspire me a ton. I don't expect DC to go into Portland and win this game. I think Portland starts 2-0.
By the way, Benteke ended up being my player of the week. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of has to be, right? Was there anybody else who got a hat trick?
Not really.
No.
Mhm.
So I think he had to be, but it's,
If
it
CONCACAF
came-
was a person, it'd be Benteke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If CONCACAF was a person, it'd be Christian Benteke, 100%. All right, boys, are we in Portland 3-2?
Yeah.
Except for AJ 3-3, which I'll
Yep.
take all day, every day. That's fine.
Either
with me.
way, there's goal. I'm
Goals and
expecting
goals. The Quakes take on Galaxy.
Oh,
at
Cali
home.
Classico.
What is that? The Cali Classico?
Yeah.
I think, like, I don't know if you guys didn't tune into Dallas play San Jose. San Jose wasn't bad with the opening, 20 minutes. They showed some energy. Espinoza got some good shots off from distance, but outside of that, they didn't really penetrate the the 18 at all and create any meaningful opportunities. Like in the opposition's box, there were almost no real chances, which I think if you're a Quakes fan is a little worrying. But you look at Galaxy, the exact opposite, right? If Paintsel, what a signing, by the way. Holy shit. But if he would have just converted the number of chances, any one of the number of chances that he had, Galaxy walk away with that like a 3-1 on Miami, probably easily, right? Do Galaxy just walk away with this one?
I think so. I think it's a 2-1. 2-1 Galaxy.
Because there's no home field advantage in the Cali Classico.
I'm going
right?
3-2
Not
Galaxy.
really. I mean, it's a derby. Yeah.
Let me go back to my notes. I had 3-1 Galaxy too, actually. Damn, Shayan 2 in a row, bro. Holy shit.
I'm gonna go 2-0. I really like Peck off the bench in that game against Miami. I think Peck was really up for it. Like he really was. He was kind of doing Alba kind of dirty. That's all I'm gonna say. Jordi Alba was not doing very much. I thought him and maybe they have to figure out something with Fagundes, because I feel like Fagundes has a lot. I don't know. There's a little bit something there needs to happen. It's not the Fagundes.
He looks like a little, not shaky. I mean, his pace is still kind of there too, which is awesome. I think for Galaxy fans. But like, yeah, I agree. It's like he didn't. He tried to cut inside and create a little bit more from the central part of the midfield, and it just, I don't know. They looked a little bit awkward in the attack.
Yeah.
But I still think Paints, dude. What a signing, by the way. Where did the Galaxy pick him up from? Anybody know?
Is it France?
Who?
France or
Paintsel, their new winger.
Genk.
Oh, my bad.
Wasn't it Genk? Oh no,
It
no.
might have been. Yeah, I don't really know.
I think it's Belgium. Yeah.
Belgium.
Dude, like he has zero. Like listen, in week 1, he has zero conversion strength to him. Like he really, it's either he got the touch wrong or just the shot was terrible. But like his ability to like just get beyond the final defender is insane. All right, Xiaoyan, talk to me, bro. We're in our final kind of slew of matches coming up. Seattle versus Austin. Seattle, honestly, bro. I'm trying to make sense of like what I saw against LAFC. It was a road match, right? But you guys had real opportunities in the first, let's say, few minutes. Jordan Morris specifically getting a one-on-one with Hugo Lloris, finding ways.
Didn't we just talk about this the end of last season?
We did. It's the exact same problem you guys have, which leads me to believe that like you guys have to sign a striker this summer if you guys want to make meaningful progression in 2024.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, I think we were a dumpster fire until Pedro De La Vega comes on. De La Vega changes the whole game.
I mean, he scored a penalty kick though.
Yeah, but you can just tell the offense looked so much better with him on the He's
like that much better than Leo Chu.
Dude, fuck me, man. Leo Chu makes me want to just chop my wiener off. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I like that.
I don't like Leo. No, yes, you can tell. Like if you watch, that's the one game I watched the whole thing, start to finish. Every Sounders fan can admit this. The day and night difference from when Pedro played for 20 minutes and he's not even 100% fit to the 80 minutes we saw, or whatever, 70 minutes we saw from Chu, how much more of an impact and how much more balls he had than him and how much he changed the game. It's like as if the A team player went to go play with the C team because everyone else played like a bunch of terrible players, but Pedro actually looked like a player that fills me with hope. I mean, I don't know. Austin's pretty down bad. I don't think we're that down bad, but like, it's just a matter of can we finish chances? I don't think we have so many injuries. Fry, João Paulo, Yeimar, Rui Diaz. Dude, this pisses me off. Game fucking 1, Rui Diaz is already questionable. This guy's a hobo. He's stealing from us.
I heard Schmetzer say on a clip earlier today that Stephen Fry probably is out. João Paulo probably is out for Austin. And Rusnak might also be out.
And Rusnak. Dude, bro, it just gets worse.
Yeah, like these are real playmakers for Seattle. So, like, if Austin ever had a chance to upset, like, a strong playoff contender, even if it is on the road, this is it. But I still feel like Austin, dude, if it wasn't for Stuber, Minnesota would have looked like 2011 prime Barcelona if it wasn't for Stuber.
Just to be controversial, I'm taking Austin.
You're taking Austin? All
yeah.
Right. Jeez, that's crazy, bro. Just so you know, Minnesota outshot Austin FC 22-9 at the Q2.
Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying. Like,
let that shit sink in, okay? Like 22-9.
If it was any other team, I think Seattle might have a way more difficult time. I still think Austin will cause Seattle some troubles. I could see it ending like just 2-1 Seattle, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, and no
They just
Driussi.
scrape
No
it.
Driussi for Austin, by the way.
Oh, no, Driussi, never mind. There's a 2-0 win for Seattle. Never mind.
No
Right?
Driussi.
Is he
So-
injured?
Yeah, so he got injured right before the season, and they didn't know if it was going to be week to week, but now apparently it's like 2 weeks plus. So I think he's definitely going to be out for week 2.
I don't know, man. I still think we'll win, but there's some big question marks with the Sounder. And it's just like no fucking surprise. Like, we're going to keep making the same excuses. Injuries this, injuries that, this. And like, dude, we have a 30-year-old grandpa squad. Like, you can't expect us to go clean slate, no injuries. Fans thinking, oh, if Rui Diaz stays healthy for a full season. Dude, what the fuck you talking about? Like, so pigs are going to fly now? Like, we know Rui Diaz is going to get hurt, man. It's just so dead. But Pedro de la Vega, man, he makes me happy.
I just find it funny how we're completely flipped around. I was like Cheyenne last season. Now I'm just optimistic. We're out here laughing. We're good.
Bro, I've never seen John's like glowing, bro. Like he's like legitimately
He's
like
literally glowing.
He's really
I
glowing.
know.
oh yeah, he's literally glowing. But I mean, like bro's in a mood that I haven't seen him in a while on this show. I love it, bro. Hopefully the fire don't let you down, which they're going to do. But I think going back to this game, I mean, like it's just I agree with all the takes Cheyenne said. I think Seattle's very just missing in so many areas. I haven't just played
as bad as Austin right now.
Yeah, missing an edge, but are they as bad as Austin?
Yeah, that's
FC?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the battle of who can be less down bad, and I think that's Seattle.
Do
because
you
of the
guys
fans.
think there's a possibility for a draw at all? Or
Oh
no?
yeah, I think that,
Possibility.
100%. I think this is a mid-off. This is mid-off.
this might be no.
This
I
is
think
the
AJ
nil-nil.
might be right.
This is
No,
the
0-0. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not going to score in their home opener. I just don't see that.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think it could be like a 1-1. I
think-
had this 1-1, by the way.
I think Seattle just grind out a 2-1 win. I think Schmetz, even though it's kind of weird, but I think fans are now really starting to be like, okay, I'm kind of done with this whole Rui Diaz Morris shit, even though I've been on the wagon up for now over a year over this thing. But like,
Yeah.
I think fans are really now starting to be like, okay, this is kind of horse shit. Like these guys are not that like you can just see you're getting scammed. And that's what
Yeah.
Rui Diaz is doing to the Sounders. He's fucking scamming us. Like he's our best paid player, and he's getting 5 goals and 5 injuries in a season. Like, come on, bro.
So there's a buyout for each team each season. You think Rui Diaz is the person that gets bought out?
I mean, at this point, it obviously isn't going to happen till the summer. When I spoke to Tom about this, Tom Bogert to be more specific, he said the only way Seattle get a striker is if Raul leaves. That's the only way. It's not money's not the problem. Is we just need a DP spot, and the 3 that are being occupied is I believe Rusnak, Pedro, and Raul.
You guys have to buy him out then. Like I don't think you have a choice.
Because I don't think
if you
anyone's
wanna-
gonna fucking buy him. If anyone has a pair of eyes, they know he's useless at this point.
Yeah, I think you guys have
maybe
to.
the
It's like,
Peruvian league.
yeah,
But at
yeah,
least,
bro,
at
seriously.
least at the 6-month mark, it'll be cheaper than if we bought him out.
Hey, listen, there might be some club in Mexico that might want to take him back just based off what he did at Monarcas.
That's what I
Who
thought
knows?
too during the offseason as well. That's what I thought, but no one went in for him. Or
Because
Brian was just a ding dong.
Mazatlan's
Like,
just waiting in the distance.
Yeah.
just like waiting for the contract
For
to
real.
get bought out. Just
Bring him back home.
hell yeah, bro. I don't know, man. It's just like
the striker situation kills me.
Yeah.
The striker, because Morris is just wank. Like, let's be
It-
honest. he's
Is this
wank.
going to be another one of those? You know, are we
It could
saying?
be. It could be.
You know what? I'm just going to say 0-0. It's going to be a draw. I don't
Yeah.
see it either way.
Yeah, I think we see a draw, boy. I get that. It could be a dub. Shotgun. It could literally be game 3 of the playoffs between Dallas and Seattle, where it literally was, in my opinion, a snooze fest. Rusnak got a goal. Seattle just kind of wasn't like, super comfortable. We were trying to get down the field, right? But it was just a lot of back and forth with no meaningful chances created after that. And I kind of see that happening here. Like, I don't know, a 1-0 maybe, but I see a 1-1 in my opinion.
I think Seattle's gonna fight and win 1-0.
But majority does rule, gentlemen. Majority rules. I think it's gonna, we're gonna collectively say it's a draw between Seattle and Austin. Final matchup of the weekend on Sunday: New England, the Revs taking on Toronto. I think it's hard to judge Toronto right now. They didn't score against Cincinnati, but it's like hard to judge where they're at because Bernardeschi actually did play decently well. He looks like he's owning more of his outside position under Herdman. Richie
Larea.
Larea looks slightly more threatening, and maybe again it's just that Canadian connection with them. Insigne was Insigne. Like I didn't see anything crazy from him when I watched. I still think the Revs take it at home. Carlos Heel hit a banger against DC when they were already down to 10 men. Is that, by the way, is that like already that was that goal of the weekend?
Goal of the week. Goal of the week.
Easily.
Should have
Goal of
been.
the week. Either that, it's got to be either that or Guti's goal. One of the two.
Dude, what the no? It's
I didn't see you
obviously
being biased. Guti's goal was good, bro.
It's biased.
Stop hating.
It was a pretty good goal. But I will say, like Carlos Heel, bro, he just perfectly bent that shit into the corner.
Yeah, no,
Chef
that's why I said it's either one or two. I'm not even.
No, John, you know what the real answer is.
He's like, it's 50-50. It's anybody's guess.
He's like back on. Oh yeah, if me and Sean combined our predictions, we'd
hey,
listen.
I've never seen Carlos Gil like our videos. Okay, I've seen Guti like our videos.
That's
so
fair.
There you go.
That's fair.
Has
Guti
he?
did like one.
Yeah,
of our
he
clips.
has.
He did. To be fair, I think. What
Which
was that
video?
Blazing the Fire. What were you saying?
No, I wasn't even talking about the fire. I was talking about Chiellini.
Oh, okay.
He liked
there you go.
the
Yeah, so he did like one of our videos. So
yeah,
so we got to show him some love on the show, 100%. But I think he's not better than Carlos Heel. Let's be real. Heel absolutely hit a banger, and they were already down at 10 men. But I think Vrioni does miss this game, right? Was it a straight red or a soft?
2 yellows, I believe.
2 yellows.
But he still misses the next match.
Well, yeah,
right?
he still misses this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have the number 9. It is what it is. But I still think the Revs take it at home. No.
I'm going with the ups. I'm going Toronto.
Oh, what?
Not a terrible shout.
I just don't like how much people are back. I don't get it. It's like I've hated the predictions I've seen from everybody, like content creators, the MLS pundits. Like it's almost like everyone's just like following the leader. Everyone's like, "Oh, Seattle will finish 1 through 3. Toronto's going to finish 15."
I hate that take. By the way, the whole Seattle's going to like beat in the MLS Cup final. I'm like, okay, so they don't need goals to get there. I was like, okay, I guess.
And it's even like, and I still think LAFC will be a top team, but it's just like everyone's like, "Oh, well, they're easily 1 or 2," and I'm just like, I don't know, like everything's.
No, it's just nobody wants to get flamed, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm being real though, and you guys have heard me on this show. I backed the hiring of Caleb Porter. I watched them against DC United even when they were down to 10 men, and I still think they were creating chances. I have New England winning 2-0. That's my prediction for this game. Not that Toronto's inherently that bad. It's just that I think away, the Revs, in my opinion, should pull this out based on what they just did in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Toronto's better than the fact people are just like 15. I was like, dude, they have a way better coach now. On paper, their squad looks a lot better, and now with hopefully
a different system too. They're running like a 3-4-3. It looks better. It just looks better on paper.
I'm gonna go with Toronto just because I'm a little bit annoyed with some of the bracket predictions, not bracket, sorry, table predictions. Those annoyed me so much. I saw a bunch of them and I was like, it's like just follow the leader, bro. Like I was like, how do you guys justify, for example, Seattle finishing 1 through 3?
They just don't want to get flamed. No one wants to get isolated. That's it, bro. They just don't want to be like the one journalist who got it wrong. But I'll be that guy all day if nobody else wants to be. So
listen. I'll back you on that. I'll take Toronto.
There you go.
Just because I hate New England, you know. Hide it.
Another agenda from John. Okay, Hector, how do you feel about this, Hector?
I think Toronto can slide one in.
Okay, I'm the trendsetter again.
Right. AJ, save me, bro. Save me.
Yeah, I think it's 2-1 Revs. I mean, just at home.
There's
Toronto,
no saving. It's majority anyway.
It is majority.
It is majority.
But this whole video is a receipt.
Because it's just, I mean, if we talk about like performing players, Carlos Heel is the guy that actually can put the ball in the back of the net versus Toronto, who, I mean, you have star players that cannot play together, and they still haven't shown it. So I don't.
Insigne's gonna come out and he's gonna party. I'm telling you, he's partying.
Maybe. Maybe, but
I think this is his come out party. That's coming out.
Yeah, not
against the Revs.
Against the Revs.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if you guys if Toronto pull out the upset, great. I would love to see an upset here. It'd be awesome. I don't have any positive bias towards the Revs. I think they're the better team right now. So we'll see what happens. They are the home team that does favor them quite a bit, but we have collectively Toronto somehow winning this game, and if they do, I'll shut up. It'll be that. All right, boys, but that is the final game of the weekend. We have all of our picks in. I think we have all of our hot takes. Maybe John has one more. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
No, I'll save mine for Monday. I'll save mine for Monday.
Interesting. AJ, what's yours?
Yeah, so that's why I think New England's going to win. I think because we need Atlanta United fans anyway. We need them to get into a false sense of like hope and all that. Okay, no need to like really must win in Atlanta because we're the only team that has a bye week this week, and so
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting back and enjoying, not even stressing, bro. That's I guess it's slightly a good feeling. We'll see how that 5-stripe agenda kind of nets out for you on the Reds game. But these are our picks. I think the game to watch, in my opinion, we talked about it before, right? Was it Portland versus DC United? That is our game of the week. Our mid-off we have to pick one really quick. Is it Colorado Nashville or is it Seattle Austin?
Colorado.
Seattle Austin.
I'm taking Colorado, bro.
I think. I don't know, man.
It's tough. They're both bad. But...
No, with all the injuries that you guys have, and like,
okay, that's fair.
That's fair. Listen, like that. How are you going to piece together an attack?
I will say.
True.
I will say. I think this will be Della Vega's. I feel like Della Vega will make it less doozy.
It's simple. You just fight and you win.
Oh my God, bro!
Okay, Ted Lasso.
I know. I was like, Jesus,
I love
Christ.
it.
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, it's probably either Colorado versus Nashville or Seattle versus Austin. But either way, a lot of games to be had this weekend. 14 matchups specifically. You have the predictions from Wake Up MLS. We're gonna leave the video there. All right. So from everybody here at the show. My name's Jose. That's Hector. That's Xiao Yan. That's AJ. That's John. We'll catch you guys next time.